This week in a conversation, I have a wonderful guest. I'm going to be speaking with Adil Hussain. He's joining me from New Delhi, India. He's one of the most successful uh, Indian movie stars. So we'll be talking about his career and his accomplishment. And I also have to say that he he's one of the main um, actors in the movie uh, Life of Pi, won 4 Oscars, a Golden Globe Award, and the movie clenched almost $1 billion. So I'm going to be speaking with him. But before I get to this wonderful conversation with Adel Hussein, I also have to remind you about my latest book, uh, published just last week, officially last week, titled Last Spring Was Bittersweet, which is a sequel to the um, the book that I published last year under the title Bittersweet Memories of Last Spring. So it's a wonderful opportunity for me to remind you again. It is important to get your copy if you haven't done so. And the book is available everywhere, anywhere they sell books, including Walmart. So, yeah. So also at the end of the video, if you really like the video, just please hit the like button for it. And also, I'm reminding you it's important to continue to support CSMS Magazine and its YouTube channel, The Conversation. So that way, every time, if you subscribe to this channel, and the best way to do so is to subscribe to it, every time a video is posted, it will go directly into your portable. So without further ado, let's get to the conversation with wonderful Indian movie star Adil Hussain. Again, my name is Ardain Isma, and I'm here this morning or this evening, it depends on where you are across the world, with an impeccable actor. I'm here with Adil Hussain, joining me from Mumbai, no,
New Delhi.
from New Delhi, and we're
Yes.
going to be talking about his impressive resume of acting. But to begin with, Adele, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you so much, Ardain, for inviting me. Thank you. Looking
Okay,
forward.
so what I always do every time I have a guest in the conversation, I always have to ask the guest, um, who is Adele Hussain?
Don't know yet. I'm just trying to find out. That's the question that one of the greatest saints in India asked. Who am I? And that led him to a cave. And he sat there for almost 6.5 years, went into deep unconscious, semi-conscious sleep. And he came out, or he was found and brought out by some people who saw him going that way 6 years ago towards the hill and never came out. And he was sort of, people started looking for him and he was found half eaten by insects. Then he was brought out. His name is, he was known as one of the, like, you know, Hercules amongst the saints in India. He's known as
Okay.
Rama, Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi.
Mhm,
Maharishi, Maha means great.
mhm.
Others are Rishi. Rishi is those who can see, or the seers. He was greatest amongst the seers, Maharshi. And so, who am I is a big question, which led me to, uh, which actually the question was, it propped in my mind, not by myself, but by the father of acting, modern acting, who was a Russian
Mhm.
who was a Russian person called Konstantin Stanislavski, and
Mhm.
who asks the actor to ask, before you get into a scene, you must ask, who are you? Where are you? When are you?
Mhm.
What are you? And
Mhm.
why are you? It's five
That's
W's.
good. That's interesting.
And then you should be able to act efficiently. So that question prompted me to ask myself, if those questions, if I can answer those questions, then it would lead me to act better in a given circumstances, written by whoever, writer, director, and would I not then act well if I ask these questions in my life? So that's how I found out about these greatest saints. So I really don't know who am I, and Ardain, to tell you, uh, with some introspection and some reflection, that uh, it is not my body, it's not. I'm not my eyes, not my thoughts, not my brain, not my body, but it's something beyond that. Functionally, as a function, as a utility purpose. Yeah, I play different roles. I play the role of an actor, and I play. I'm trying my best to play a good role, or honestly, as honestly as I can, a role of a father or a husband or a citizen or a friend. Yeah, I have no idea who am I. I'm just on
But
the
you know
road.
what? When it comes to your acting career, it seems like you just a gentleman at a very, very young age. From what I've read, you set your eyes on the prize. You began as a stand-up comedian, very
Yeah.
young, and then you rise until you reach the pinnacle of your acting career. Let me ask you this question, Adele. At that young age, when you're probably 12 or 14 years old, did you realize that you were going to become such an impeccable actor that you are today?
No, not at all. I just loved acting, and and that is probably the main fuel behind, I guess, anybody who wants to, who'd like to dive deep into finding out the deeper aspect of whatever one does.
Mhm.
And as I said, Stanislavski and some other great acting teachers, theater makers, scholars, who pushed me to ask me probably the right questions
Mhm.
to find out the relationship between my art, which I love to do, and me. What
Mhm.
is it that relationship is? I never thought of. I don't think I'm anywhere near pinnacle, and I think I'm just finding a way to just relish my. Probably very recently, I started relishing my leisurely work. That
Really?
work.
Okay.
It's. I'm not carrying the burden to be a good actor. I'm not carrying the burden to prove myself I'm brilliant or anything.
You've
I'm
already
just
done so.
no, that was a huge sort of a rock on my head. I
Right.
had to
I
carry that.
understand.
Oh, I have to be good. I have to prove. I have to be, brilliant. In front of my teachers, in
Right.
front of my students who I teach, and my relatives, my
Right.
friends,
Right.
and the fact that if somebody is an imaginary visual which comes to my mind, and I would think that, oh my god, if somebody goes to see me who has bought a ticket, and say, oh, what the hell is he doing on the screen, it's so bad. So that is to eat me up, this particular thought, if somebody thinks I'm not doing my job well. But
Mhm.
now I think in the last few years, that
Mhm.
particular fright or that fear has left me slowly, that I'm okay. If people criticize me, I'm going to just, gently walk tread my path. And it's okay to be bad. It's okay to not to be so good.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it doesn't. You don't have to be, on top of the world every time you do
But
something.
you
It's
know,
okay.
Adele, the art of acting in itself
Yes.
plays a major role in shaping human destiny or human emotion because we act or we write based on facts of life, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So in your piece, and the movie that the Reluctant Fundamentalist,
Yes.
um, which was a major, a feature of him, right? So how did you get to be? Did you audition for this for the role?
Yes, I did. I did. Yeah. Mira Nair is the director, of course, based on a novel, Reluctant Fundamentalist, and which is a very successful novel. But I didn't read the novel before I did the
You
film.
did.
No, I did not. I did not. I was not. I'm not encouraged to read the novel because then I will have set ideas that, oh, this is the way it should go. But the director's perspective, who makes the film, like when I played, I'll come to the other film as well because I think you would bring up that subject, Life of Pi, because that's a novel as well,
Right.
which was made into a film. And I asked Ang Lee, the director, I asked him, "Do you want me to read the novel?" He said, "No, don't read the novel if
Really?
you have." For the simple reason
Okay.
that director's perspective and his interpretation is could be pretty different. It's a different language.
Uh-huh.
Filmmaking is totally a different language than a novel. Novels. I mean, I'm nobody to talk what is a novel because I'm not qualified. But the novels that I read so far, there are a lot of spaces. You have pages, but not that you write something boring. But I'm just saying, there will be an editor sitting on your head. Cut this out, cut that out.
Exactly.
I know that those stories, but I'm saying still it can be more than 500 pages, it can be 600 pages, like for
Right.
example Shantaram that I read, it is more than 650 pages, I guess. It's a huge, you know um Life of Pi, I don't remember exactly how many pages that novel is, but films, you have only 1.5 hours to 2 hours at the most.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
have a limited time, and in
Uh-huh.
that limited time you have to tell the story in such a way that is engaging without losing the depth of the philosophy, without losing the characterization, without losing the character study that the writer had so brilliantly, woven through the storytelling, and without losing the vision of the writer, where the writer wanted the spectator, all the reader, to also help them to imagine and feel, to open the doors of imagination. Because films, what happens is that it's a camera, open, there has to be something in front of the camera, so
Right.
that limits the possibilities of imagination.
Okay.
You see, that's a big drawback of a film.
Okay.
Like, as soon as you, like, this is the camera, I'm sitting in front of a camera, here it is, and immediately there's a white wall. In behind you are the books, and I'm like, what is that? What is that in that book? What are those books? I can't read from here even with my glasses on. Probably no, I can't. So there is a you are building curiosity that, oh, there are books and I want to know Ardain, what does he read?
Yeah.
Like if you turn the camera, here are some books here. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So then you would be like, there is a book. So when you open a camera, always there is something, and that limits the possibilities. So a good designer, a
Mm.
scenic designer or a
Uh-huh.
director would work with someone
Right.
so that the audience can imagine in spite of seeing something very definitive, shape, color, line, and texture. It's a very difficult job. So the novel has words have its own advantages and disadvantages as well, of
Right.
course.
Right.
Advantages are that you might write in such a way, in an ambiguous way, that it will lead me to like, oh, probably it's like that, probably it's
Right,
like this.
right,
I have
right,
this huge canvas that
right.
I can paint myself.
Exactly. That's what I
So
said.
that's why I think the director doesn't want you to read, because you, I would like to go to my director as an empty canvas. That's so that the director can paint on me. I don't want to have a preconceived notion when I want to
I
act.
got you. Yeah. But let me ask you
Yes,
this, Adele. So you are giving your role and you are only instructed to read this part that you are going to be
correct,
acting on. Ah,
correct,
okay. Okay.
correct. So is the thing, with both the scripts, with Reluctant Fundamentalist and Life of Pi
And
as
Life of
well.
Pi. Life of
Have
Pi.
you seen Life of Pi, Ardain?
I've seen it. My wife intends to, and I said to my wife, maybe we need to sit together at once and watch it again so I can enjoy it one more time. But
Yes,
I
yes,
mean, the question is that movie was so successful.
yes, yes.
Both,
Very, very
the acting part of it, but also the box office part of it, the financial success of the movie.
absolute.
More than $600 million.
No, I think it's more. It was almost like the inside story I know. I think it was around 800, almost $1 billion. Yeah,
Jesus. Jesus.
yeah,
And I believe I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, the budget for the movie was about 120 million, something like that.
yeah. 110, 20 million is correct.
Wow. So
Yeah.
how did you feel? Just like you and I are talking right now and watching this baby flying all the way to the
I
top.
know.
And you were
I
playing a
know.
leading role in the movie. So
One of the lead roles. Yeah. I felt very good for the film. I felt very good for the 20th Century Fox, who got the money. I did not get.
but you got
I
some.
wish, I wish, I wish they gave me. I wish the contract with me and 20th Century Fox was formulated by my agent. I didn't have an agent in LA. I would have
Okay.
go, I would have gotten some money from what they had earned had I gone through my agent, because there's something called residual or
Oh,
royalties.
okay.
I did not have
You
that.
didn't get that? Okay.
No, I didn't get that because I had an Indian manager who didn't know how it works and all that.
Ah, okay.
So I felt happy for them for sure. Why shouldn't I feel happy for them? It felt very good because this, jokes aside, the good part was that in spite of not in the film, there were no stars. None of them were stars. All the actors were new to the world cinema, to the world audience.
What about
I
Gérard Depardieu?
Gerard Depardieu is the only actor who was
Okay.
known in one part of it, on one part of the world.
Right.
Little bit in the Western world, probably few American people,
Right.
and the audience in Europe to some
In
extent,
Europe.
but not the rest of the world. The majority of the population, where the
Right.
money came from for this particular film,
Hmm.
are not from necessarily Europe and America. It came from also the other parts of the world. So I would say the only star probably was Ang Lee himself, or the film itself. The story became much bigger than the creator of the story, and that's an ideal situation as far as I'm concerned. I think art, no individual is bigger than the art itself that they
That's
create.
true. That's
And
so true.
then Life of Pi, I think, proved that for me.
Okay.
And that's why I think it's one of the greatest films that ever made,
Hmm.
where without any known star, apart from Gerard Depardieu, came for like 3 minutes at the
Oh
most
yeah,
in the
yeah.
film.
True.
So it
True.
is not for him the film got sold. It's
That's
not
true.
for him for sure. It is probably just the film,
Hmm.
and Ang Lee gets probably the 99% of the credit should go to him in
Hmm.
terms of, because he created the entire world.
Right.
And I think the story, the film itself surpassed Ang Lee himself. I think it became a piece of art that was appreciated, not because it was made by Ang Lee, not because it was made by or acted in, or of course everybody contributed for sure,
Yeah.
but the synthesis was so beautiful that it reached that quality of art that I always thought should reach.
do you think that your success on the reluctant fundamentalist
Yes.
had played a role also on in helping you securing the role in the life of Pi?
No, I did Life of Pi before Reluctant
Before
Fundamentalist.
reluctant fundamentalist,
Yes,
life
yes,
of Pi was premiere in 2012. No,
yes.
okay. And then the reluctant fundamentalist was premiere when 17 and 2017. No,
27, 2018, I guess. Yeah.
2017.
2015 or 16, I
I just
forgot.
kind of getting
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, but you became an instant celebrity, worldwide celebrity through this movie. Let me ask you something. Because to put together
Yeah,
such an impeccable piece of art,
right.
such a feature film, you
Yes,
have to have a lot of money. So the Hollywood machine clearly was behind it. $120 million.
yes,
Obviously.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
what do you think might have convinced those people to put the weight, the might behind the movie?
That's the question I asked. Like when I first met Ang Lee, and I asked him why Life of Pi.
Mm-hmm.
um, Everybody felt, but nobody knew. Nobody could put a plan together. But everybody felt that there is something there in this book. That book went to several very accomplished directors
Mm-hmm.
before it came to Ang Lee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you name it. You name all the directors, good ones. Everybody was approached, but everybody said, this
So,
is not a possibility. We
mm-hmm.
can't make this into a film. It's not filmable, as they put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So when I asked Ang Lee, he told me this story that it went to several people, several directors who said, no, it cannot be filmable. Ang Lee himself thought that, oh my God, it's very difficult. Then he, according to his version, to me in my first meeting with him, he said, I asked the production that if you can make me a tiger, which is in computer
uh-huh.
through computer graphics, that I believe in it, that it is a real tiger. And if you can make one for me, and I will tell you what the tiger should do, and if you can make the tiger do through computer graphics, then I will decide whether I will make this film or not. So they made it, and they made Ang Lee believe that this is a real tiger. I believed as well when I watched it. The real tiger was used probably one or two places at the most.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like 5% of the filming was real tiger, and rest
Right.
95% was
Right.
not. So, according to Ang Lee, that when I saw the real tiger was made, and I mean, computer graphics, I believe that this is real for me. When I look at it, he decided that okay, now I can create the drama and the emotion through the tiger and the human being,
Mm-hmm.
who is also for the first time acting in his life,
Mm-hmm.
Suraj Sharma, who played Pi.
So,
So, yeah.
yeah, you said now you're devoting your time and producing works that are exclusively yours, and the way you feel some sort of a liberated from the pressure, from the weight of pleasing directors. Uh, so how do you think that your work right now can influence young people to follow your path? Being so devoted as you are, and perhaps someday they'll be successful as you are.
I don't know, Ardain. I really don't know. I think it is a very difficult and scary place for a lot of people to be.
Okay.
That when you say that the best place to be is that you don't know what to do. Um, and I was in fact talking to a very young actor whom I have never met, who texted me on my social media that he's going through a very difficult time
Okay.
because he's looking for certain answers in terms of technicalities
Mhm.
of acting, but he's not finding the right person to talk to. When he saw my interview, one of the interviews like this, which I did, uh, 1 year ago, which was a 4.5 hour long interview, which answered a lot of technical things. That when he saw
Okay.
that interview, he thought, I'm the person he should ask me certain question. But when I told when I told him that the best place to be in when you go to shoot, when you are standing in front of the camera, you must be genuinely not know what to do.
Okay.
And he was like, what?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, you are jumping from the cliff without a parachute, believing that you will be able to fly,
Huh.
but ready to fall and bleed if you can't fly. So that is a place that am trying to bring. I try to bring myself all the time on the edge of the cliff, that I don't know what to do. The moment, this moment, the now of this moment will guide me and lead me to the creative process. And it can be only called creation when you haven't yourself tasted it before, or you
Correct.
haven't seen it before. Otherwise, it cannot be creative. It's
True. That's
copying.
true. That's true.
So it's a very scary place. And a young actor who is asking me, he said, "Oh my God, what are you saying, sir?" I said, "Well, you asked me the question, and this is my answer."
Mm-hmm.
And one, I know it is easier said than done because I know how difficult it is for me. So, yeah,
So, but I know a lot of people, young generation have idolized you.
yeah.
So, do you plan on having some sort of a maybe? Because I know many successful individuals have done that for the communities, putting together, let's say, a school of art, of acting, or something. Have you planned? Are you planning, or do you have?
That would be my dream, actually, Ardain, because I think that. But the trouble is the kind of the approach that I have toward acting is cannot be mass produced or must it cannot be copied.
Mhm.
It's a very individualistic because each individual is very different, and each individual is would need a different approach to understand. If I put it this way, then probably it would be easier for people to understand. Is that I look at it not acting to learn acting is not acquiring skills, but shedding unnecessary things that we all carry with us. It's there's a famous theater scholar called Jerzy Grotowski. He says via negativa means you you take out the things. The great one of the good metaphors to understand or examples would be like if you are standing in front of a piece of rock, and you take out with a chisel, the things that which is hiding the sculpture. So that's the metaphor. You take out from the actor which the
Uh,
actor doesn't need,
uh-huh.
and let the vulnerable self, the defenseless self, let the most courageous self, most tender and most grotesque self, which we keep hiding with the masks of society, to present ourselves to the society, which is with goodness and all that, to take them off and accepting it without any judgment. So that is a very individualistic process. Everyone has to be approached differently because everyone is different. So it cannot be done. I cannot take up more than 6 to 8 students at a time.
Okay. Yeah.
So you see what I mean? So it
Right.
cannot be like I have 100 students and I'm giving a lecture and like all this. And it cannot happen that way. It cannot be an academy or a Khan Academy.
But now the pressure of auditioning. I mean, because a few years ago, I think about 2.5 years ago, I had a conversation with two directors from Hollywood, from Los
Right,
Angeles.
right.
They are on a production company called Poison Pictures,
Okay.
and they were telling me uh, it is so hard when you have to choose between good actors, so many good actors, and it comes down to two, maybe three for this specific role.
Yeah.
So, if it's so hard for the director, how hard do you think it is? Is it harder for the actor?
See, the ignorance is bliss. We don't even know how many.
Ah, okay.
We don't know. So I don't even think about it. I audition and I'm like, okay, fine. I audition. I don't have to audition in India at all. I'm just
Okay.
offered roles. I don't need to audition for at all.
Right.
So only for projects abroad, sometimes mostly in Hollywood, like I auditioned for Star Trek and I got it.
Uh-huh.
I auditioned for Life of Pi and I haven't auditioned much also. I don't like auditioning
I
because
know.
I think it's no,
Remember.
not because of anything. I think it's a very, very flawed process. It's
Okay.
good for the director, but it's not good for actors. I think I
True.
find it
That is
very
true.
unnatural. You're standing in front of the camera and there is nobody there, and I don't have the brief. I don't have anybody. I don't know what would be the situation. You know what I mean? So it's very hard and it's odd, and I dislike it. So I generally, my agent from LA, she keeps me audition. She keeps sending audition pieces to me, and I'm like, unless it is really a remarkable role, I
Mm.
don't do it. I'm
You know.
like, not interested, not interested. Uh, because also the time limit they give you, like, oh, you have only 2 days and you have to do it. I'm like, I'm happy not to be. So my agent says, oh, you're not interested in Hollywood films. I say I'm interested, but I'm not desperate.
That's
That's
a
the
good answer.
difference.
That's a.
So
These are the kind of answers that you can give to an agent when
yeah, yeah,
entirely comfortable,
yeah. I'm
but
okay.
yourself.
I'm okay. I don't have to prove anything.
Exactly.
I don't need to do that. And I'm happy with the roles I get here. I would be happier to get better roles, well written roles, which I quite often see made in America or in Europe. I miss it sometimes, but I think the audition process is, it's something which I almost despise. And
I know. It's just like for a writer who has to pitch his
I
work to
know,
many
I know,
different
I know.
agents or
Yeah, yeah, I know,
publishing companies. I know.
I
I know
know.
the
I get,
process. It can
yeah, I
be.
get I also understand why director would like to see, because the face, and it's not about the talent of acting only all the time. It's also how this particular face looks in comparison to the other face, so that there is a color palette, there is
True.
a visual, facial structure palette to the film. So all these things are there. I get it, but there are photographs you can watch it. You don't have to unnecessarily make.
But I have two more questions to ask you because we're
Okay.
running out of time. The
Yes.
first one is I know Life of Pi uh, received the Golden Globe Award, and
It also got 4 Oscars.
yes.
Yeah.
So how did you feel? What was the feeling?
I mean, I was elated. I was like, oh my God, that was my third film in my life. I've never done films before that. I was mostly on the stage. And I was like, wow, look at that. Uh, how bizarre and how strange and how weird in a way, and how lucky that I am
Uh-huh.
that this guy, out of so many people, auditioned, got the role, and that film, out of so many films,
Right.
got 4 Oscars. And I could not, of course, everybody put in their hardest possible work. I think
True.
also that is something which is beyond our perception, some divine power, something which is, I would call it in a non-esoteric way, if I put it, I would call it lucky, that I have been very lucky, and I felt a lot of gratitude for it.
So my last question is, do you have a current project that you're working on? And if you do, when do you think we can get a chance to savour it?
I have 4 films which are traveling across the globe now, which was in Palm Spring recently, 2 of them, the
Okay.
Palm Spring International Film Festival. Um, it's traveling now, and I haven't done I haven't acted in films for last whole year. I took a break. I
Okay.
needed some
Yeah. You
me
need to go
time
here.
with my with my family,
Right.
and I'm home and I'm now reading few scripts.
Okay.
Few of them are pretty good.
Okay.
So I'm on the verge almost to say yes to two or three of them.
Okay.
Let's see. I can't talk about it because I haven't
I know.
finished.
I know. I know. I'm not asking you to. Okay.
Yeah, one or two are set in. One is set in. Two of them are set in the UK. One is set here in India.
Mhm.
So I hope that they become the film that I am thinking they would in terms of its quality. I hope that you get to see it, and I'll send you a link.
Of course, yes. We can't wait. So
Okay.
with that, I'm just gonna say it's been more than a pleasure to have had this wonderful opportunity to speak with such an impeccable actor,
Thank you so much.
Adele
So kind of you.
Hussain.